Football is simple, but playing simple football is the hardest thing there is. Johan Cruyff's words still echo through stadiums today. In the 1960s, football was just 22 players chasing a ball. No fancy moves, no complex strategies, just raw talent and basic passes. But look at football now. From street games to packed stadiums with 90,000 fans. From basic kicks to players using data analysts and AI to improve their game. From simple team talks to managers using high-tech tablets to plan their moves. The change didn't happen overnight. It took special people, game changers who saw football differently. They didn't just play the game. They changed how everyone sees it. Some brought new ways to train, others showed new ways to play, and a few completely changed how teams are run. Think about this. Today's football stars don't just practice on the field. They study game footage, work with sports scientists, and use advanced tech to get better. That's miles away from how things used to be. But who started all this? Who are the real heroes behind these big changes? That's what we're going to talk about today. The true champions who turned football from a simple game into the amazing sport we all love now. The 1970s brought the biggest shakeup in football history. Rinus Michels, coaching Ajax Amsterdam, created something brand new: total football. Instead of players stuck in one spot, he taught them to move everywhere on the field. His Ajax team shocked everyone. Players would switch positions mid-game. A defender could suddenly become a striker, while a midfielder dropped back to defend. It was like watching a perfectly choreographed dance, but with a football. The Dutch national team, nicknamed the Clockwork Orange, took this style to the 1974 World Cup. With stars like Johan Cruyff leading the charge, they didn't just play football, they put on a show. Even though they lost to West Germany in the final, their style changed football forever. Total football wasn't just about switching positions. It needed smart players who could think fast and move faster. Ajax trained their players from a young age to master every position. They had to be fit, smart, and skilled. A complete package. This new way of playing spread like wildfire. Teams from all over started copying it, adding their own twists. The days of players standing in one spot were over. Football had entered a new era. Johan Cruyff didn't just play football, he transformed it. After mastering total football as a player, he brought his magic to Barcelona as manager in 1988. Back then, Barcelona was struggling. They hadn't won a title in 14 years. Within months, Cruyff changed everything. He made Barcelona play attractive, attacking football. In his first season, they won the Cup Winners' Cup. By 1992, they lifted their first European Cup. His dream team won 4 straight league titles from 1991 to 1994. But Cruyff's biggest gift to Barcelona was La Masia, their youth academy. He turned it into a football school that taught kids total football from day one. The results? Players like Pep Guardiola, Xavi, and Iniesta. In 2010, the top 3 players in the world, Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta, were all La Masia graduates. His philosophy became Barcelona's DNA. Short passes, keeping the ball, pressing high, these weren't just tactics, they became Barcelona's identity. Even today, every Barcelona coach must follow these principles. From 2008 to 2012, Barcelona dominated world football using Cruyff's ideas, winning 14 trophies under Pep Guardiola. In fact, when Barcelona won their treble in 2009, Cruyff's impact was clear. 7 of the starting 11 players came from La Masia. That's why Barcelona fans call him El Salvador, the savior. He didn't just change a team, he built a legacy that still shapes football today. For 26 years, Sir Alex Ferguson ruled English football from Manchester United's dugout. Taking over in 1986, he turned a struggling club into a winning machine, collecting 38 trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. Ferguson mastered the art of rebuilding teams. When stars like Eric Cantona left, he'd already prepared the next generation. His class of '92, David Beckham, Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes, and others went from academy kids to world beaters. They cost nothing but brought in millions. He brought sports science to English football. In 1999, he hired the league's first full-time sports scientist. He changed training schedules, players' diets, and recovery methods. Other teams laughed until they saw United winning late in games, earning their famous Fergie time reputation. Most impressive? He kept winning as football changed. His first title came with tough physical football. His last, with fast counter-attacking play. From 1992 to 2013, he built 4 different championship teams. Each played differently, but all won big. By his retirement in 2013, he'd transformed United from England's sleeping giant into the world's richest club. He didn't just win trophies, he created a blueprint for modern football management that clubs still follow today. In 2008, Pep Guardiola took Cruyff's Barcelona vision and supercharged it. His team didn't just keep the ball, they dominated with it. In his first season, they won everything: League, Cup, and Champions League. By 2012, his Barcelona had won 14 major trophies. His style, called tiki-taka, was revolutionary. Barcelona would make 700-plus passes per game while opponents chased shadows. The key: his players had to master specific movements. When Xavi had the ball, 7 teammates needed to give him passing options. His team's record? 71% possession against Real Madrid, the highest ever in a major game. Guardiola's methods spread worldwide. His Barcelona squad trained with 15-minute drills using zones marked by cones. Today, you'll see these same training patterns from youth teams to pro clubs. His idea that goalkeepers should play like midfielders? Now it's normal to see keepers passing instead of just kicking long. At Bayern Munich and Manchester City, he kept innovating. His City team in 2019 became the first to win England's domestic treble. Their passing record? 942 successful passes in one game. These aren't just numbers, they show how one coach changed what people thought was possible in football. Today's football runs on data. Teams use special cameras tracking every player movement. They collect over 3.5 million data points per game. Players wear smart vests measuring speed, heart rate, and fatigue. Liverpool even used data to spot Andy Robertson's potential when he was at Hull City. Money changed everything too. The Premier League's first TV deal in 1992 was worth £304 million. The latest, £10 billion. This cash helped English clubs attract global stars. In 1992, only 13 Premier League players were foreign. Today, over 60% come from abroad. The Champions League got bigger and richer. Its new format in 1992 brought more matches and money. The winner now gets around £100 million. Real Madrid's record 14 titles show how some teams turned this new format into gold. VAR joined in 2018, making big calls in big moments. The 2021 Champions League final saw 26 VAR checks. Love it or hate it, it's changing how the game's played. Players now celebrate goals differently, knowing VAR might step in. So what's next? Football's changing faster than ever. Artificial intelligence is helping scouts find tomorrow's stars. Virtual reality is changing how players train. Some teams are even using robots for practice. The beautiful game started with simple rules and wooden goalposts. Now it's a high-tech, multi-billion-dollar sport. But one thing hasn't changed. It still brings joy to billions around the world. If you enjoyed diving into football's evolution with me today, hit that like button. Want more stories about the beautiful game? Subscribe and ring that bell. More football history is coming your way. Drop your thoughts below. Who do you think changed football the most?